You better get out of here, honky.
And now for something completely different.
I got moves, man.
Well, two honks and Kim just messing around. You'll never know what they talk about on two honks. Two honks and Kevin. You might hear something about the NBA. Maybe they'll just make your day on two honks and Kevin. It's sports and life and family too. Let's all listen to two honks and a Kevin. Yeehaw! Just crap my pants.
All right. Happy October 2021. October 6th. We got Blake and Kevin.
What up?
What's
What
going
it
on?
do?
What's going on, boys?
Oh, not much.
Listening to the intro, I was thinking, what's R. Kelly doing right now? Is he in jail yet? Is that official?
I'm pretty sure for something like that, you get put right in a jail. Like it's
Right in the jail. So you wonder if he's like he goes to a regular facility or what?
from what I understand about jail shows and watching them, they get put in a form of a holding cell, which is kind of a general pop type situation. And then from there, you're then moved to whatever. So, but in his case, I can almost see them not putting him in with them, but who knows what they decided to do.
Yeah.
So
jail for somebody that rich is probably what, a Holiday Inn or a Motel 6.
Isn't it pathetic? Isn't
I think he's going to jail. I don't think it's yeah.
yeah, it'd be kind of bad to give him like special treatment. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's a celebrity, because people know him, to get him, I would hate for him to get special treatment, to be honest with you.
But I mean, it happens though, right?
Oh, it does. I mean, even
in real life.
Yeah, I mean, they talk. I mean, it depends upon how the prisoners treat you, right? Like that's what all boils down to is fellow inmate treatment. And from my understanding, when Bill Cosby was in prison, he was pretty much treated like king of the hill.
Right? Because they're just like, hey man, tell some jokes and let make us laugh for more.
Yeah.
So the same thing with R. Kelly. They're like, hey, sing that one part of the song I like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure he'll have his fans. I mean, I'm sure, but then again, I would just think for every person that's like that, there'll be somebody that just wants to beat his ass just because he's R. Kelly, or because of what he did, So, I guess I could see them protecting him a little bit just because they're a target, because they are somebody. But hey, man, you also had a golden ticket and had a talent, to make money, yada yada, and you done ruined it by making stupid decisions. So,
Yeah.
or they're trying to get a buddy with them and be like, hey, I'll be your protection if you have your people put money on my books.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So you could work the system as well.
Yeah. I haven't watched too many prison shows, but I watched one. I think we talked about it. What's the one where 60 Days In?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I was always intrigued by how like you kind of become part of a group, but I think in the end it's just like a bunch of guys hanging out, as long as everyone gets along. It's just of course you
follow the rules. Yeah, it was very basic training-ish to me when I watched it. I was like, man, this is like basic. You kind of find your guys and you have your
school
rules.
lunch, like the school lunchroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Kevin, did you just stick a Q-tip real quick in your ear?
Yeah, that was one right here.
What's going on now?
Yeah.
The things that Kevin does.
I try to slide in, man.
On the podcast cracks me up, dude. He's always eating something. He's always got something to drink.
I'm gonna start folding clothes here in a minute.
Oh, that's my life. I got a bunch of dishes I got to do after this. That's for sure.
Hey, man, that never stops, man. Never stops. Dude,
it never stops. But like I told you earlier, my wife let me go golf, so I'll do the dishes.
Yeah, you got to make up for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Kevin,
man,
we're gonna spoil What If.
There you
So
go.
are they retconning Black Widow's death? That's what I seen.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like.
Hold on, time out. You guys got to set these things up. What is What If?
So What If is based. So
Your kids probably watch it.
yeah. So basically, there's a storyline in the Marvel TV universe going on where it kind of started with what is it, Scarlet Witch, and then Loki kind of confirmed it in that show where there's multiple like universes, right? Like that's
multiple realities.
Yeah, so it's like an actual theory in life too, where it's like there's multiple of Blakes, right?
Yeah, there's another Blake and another century.
This world couldn't be that blessed to have two of me in it, that's for sure.
But it's in a different universe.
In some universe, you are Joe Rogan, probably.
Yes. You probably play basketball.
Yeah, a Joe Rogan that plays basketball.
That's right. So basically what that did was it kind of opened up just kind of weird storylines, like, what if Peggy Carter was Captain America instead of Steve Rogers? And they had an episode like that. And then they had another episode of what if T'Challa was Star-Lord instead of, Peter Quill? Like they kind of like flipped the script on like, what if this guy was this person instead? And they had an episode actually too, where like, what if all the Avengers were basically murdered, and
wow.
Nobody could, and then there was also a zombie episode where it's like, what if the Avengers became zombies and took over the world? And so each episode, it was always suspected that they would kind of combine, but every episode was very episodic in nature. Like it just had its own containing story, and that was it. And then they'd go on to the next one. So So this one, and I think the last one too, kind of brought them all together. So they brought like all of the heroes from all the previous stories, like the Peggy Carter being Captain America, T'Challa being Star-Lord. They brought in Thor. They brought in, Doctor Strange.
So these are all just like single episodes instead of long movies.
Yeah, like
they're 30-minute cartoons basically, but they're not. That's cool. They're like TV 14 cartoons. They're not.
So it was just a way for Marvel just to continue to put out product, but do it in a different, shorter. I wonder if they're doing it to capture the mindset or the attention spans of people. You know what I'm saying? Like putting out shorter stuff.
So the What If series is actually a comic book series too, and it's pretty popular. Okay. So they're kind of doing a play off of that, but they're also doing a continuation of the Marvel Universe, right? Because the Marvel Universe, starting from Iron Man, every single thing you watch Marvel related is a continuation of a story arc.
Yeah.
Right? So if you watch Iron Man and then 6 years later you watch Black Panther is a continuation of that entire story. So you're getting
That's wild.
A standalone movie, but the movie is a continuation of a longer arc. So and that's kind of what this is too. It's a longer arc of, okay, this is all as what happened up to this point. And then even the whole multiverse thing, right? I don't know if you watched Endgame, but there's a part in Endgame where they go back in time before Loki was killed, right? So Loki basically was killed at the beginning of the latest Marvel Avenger movies, right? Loki was killed. So, but what they had to do is they had to go back in time in order to get these time stones, right? To fight Thanos. So they go back in time, and then instead of Loki being captured when he got away. And so that's how they got away with the Loki movie, right? So that's how the whole multiverse thing kind of kicked off. Was they say, Loki, you were supposed to die. Like, what are you doing here? So that's kind of,
because that's not how the story's supposed to end. Right. Basically,
it's yeah. So basically, they call them what's called a variant. He's like, it's something, and in every universe, Loki dies, right? But in this universe, for some reason, Loki didn't die. They grabbed him, and then hence started the whole multiverse thing, where it got busted up. Now, so basically,
now different things are happening because this person didn't die.
Right.
Basically.
Right. Well, because the timekeepers or whatever, the keepers of the timeline is what they called it. right? So he goes in there, he busts the whole thing up. Like the whole thing's fucked now. So that's what kicks off the multiverse kind of thing. I think this is kind of also their way to probably introduce like the X-Men characters and other things of that, just kind of maybe
or bring people back and just have the excuse of, hey,
right, bring back
because
right, and also bring in Miles Morales. Like, right, you're probably gonna see characters from the Ultimate, and then Blade, who's also not a canon Marvel character per se, and then also you're gonna see your Netflix characters crossover now too. So I think this whole thing we see going on right now is kind of an attempt to say, okay, all of these other characters from all of these other studios, whether it be Fox or Netflix, we're going to make all of these stories canon, but they happen in different universes. Right. So that's kind of what they're trying to pull off right now. So, and it's supposed to kind of, the new Spider-Man movie, it's supposed to kind of deal with that a little bit, because there's a rumor that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in this movie too. So those were the previous two Spider-Man. And then it's supposed to be wrapped up around Doctor Strange's next movie, which is next year. So this whole what if timeline thing is going to be going until next year. So
ways to add the stories basically and keep more stories coming.
Right.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah, it's interesting. They do the same thing with Star Wars, though. The same kind of thing. Yeah. Stretch it out.
Yeah. Kind of like Harry Potter and stuff like that.
Is it on Netflix, you said?
Disney Plus.
Oh, that's right. Marvel's Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disney Plus. You get your Squid Game in yet?
Dude, I watched one episode.
Tell me about the first episode.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna spoil it. So okay, all about it.
So have you guys watched it?
I've watched the whole series. I finished the series today.
I really? Episode 3. We finished episode 3 last night.
Okay. I just watched episode 1. And I don't know if I'll continue. I have this weird thing. I don't like watching people die. And I think it's weird how we it's just part of movies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially in this day and age, I guess, where you get canceled for, calling someone the wrong pronoun. You know what I'm saying? But like, we're okay with just watching people die. And I'm not trying to ruin it. I'm sure it's fascinating. I'm sure if I kept watching, I'd probably be intrigued by it. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm like, it's like it doesn't put me in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watch it, I'm just like, dude, I wonder if that was like really a game. Like, what if that really happened? I don't know.
It could be real life. Right?
Yeah, especially in Korea, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems to have a really good storyline, So what do you think, Kevin? What do you rank it? I mean, you finished it.
I finished it. The first episode had me locked in. And I think it's because, like, the way times are now, like, how believable would that be for that to be happening? You know what I'm saying? People like, especially in foreign countries, people are kidnapping people every day. Like, who's to say that's not really happening? You know what I'm saying?
That's what's scary.
It's very interesting. It has some good, like kind of life lesson stuff in it later. Like, Richard, as you progress, you'll get what I'm talking about. And it's pretty good. And I normally don't like dubbed over movies. I really don't like that because I can't get it. But I thought this was done pretty good, and I was just interested from episode 1. Normally, I mean, you guys are probably the same as me. Like, I'll be watching stuff, but I'm not watching it. Scrolling through my phone, I'm doing other things. This kept my attention.
Well, sorry, Richard, but the whole dub thing was cracking me up because I actually had it on in my car, which I know some people think that's dangerous, but I did a really good job keeping my eyes on the road, I promise. So I couldn't really watch their lips move because I wasn't focusing that much on it. It was just kind of listening to it and kind of seeing what was going on or whatever. And then I ended up finishing it at home. But So that's why I text you guys. I was like, hold on. First of all, where do they find this many Koreans that can speak this good of English, and why are they talking so Americanized? That's right. What. So that was throwing me off. And then when you said it's a dub over, I was like, okay, because I hadn't really seen the lips move with the acting or whatever. So that kind of helped it. But that's the part that actually kind of weirded me out in the beginning, was like, I don't like this American accent on these, Koreans, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't realize what I was listening to, I guess.
Right. I think it's interesting in terms of just socially, right? Because, I since you're not going to continue watching it, Blake,
I might, but go ahead. You can spoil
I would say
okay.
in the second episode, or maybe they do it in the first episode and it just continues in the second one, they vote to leave.
Yeah.
Like they hold a vote to leave, and they leave.
Okay.
And so
people give their reasons why and stuff like that.
They vote to leave. So it is just an interesting foray into what people do and how desperate people get, right? And people are in there for different reasons, right? You have one guy's in there because he basically got caught stealing money, right? Like corporate wise, right? He got caught doing that. And so he was in debt, or, and then there was another guy that was a gang member and he got caught stealing money from his boss. And then the main character is just a gambling addict. And then you have, a girl that, she's stealing for some reason, but we don't know yet why she's. Yeah. It just kind of shows the desperation.
But throughout the series, the premise is people that are in debt have this opportunity to play this game to get out of debt.
Recover from it.
But they have to survive it, basically.
Right. And the fact that, another spoiler, but they go back. Yeah. Right. You're out.
They actually leave for a time period, and then they request to come back.
And then they ask to go back. So it's such an interesting, just mental, like, I don't know, man. Like, I've never been in that dire straits financially, but I have had things hit me where I'm like, God, what can I do to get out of this hole? But I've never been in that hole. Like, I've never done that, but but I have, even especially younger in life, and it's just like, so I can kind of, especially being someone with, like student debt, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to pay off.
Yeah. Right. Or if you've been poor your whole life, you've been poor your whole life, you're getting all this debt. You're trying to win it on a Powerball ticket, or on the next. Yeah. Yeah. So was the premise, is it very much people with gambling addictions, or
it's all kinds of, it's people with debt.
Right.
So basically the way you get in the game is you sign away your life, right? Because you owe debt to somebody. And then they basically sell your debt off to this guy, right? And this is the guy that runs the game. And so he buys your debt, and then you sign on, and then the whole shebang kicks off, right? But it just shows you the desperation, right? You see, they watch 200 people die, right? And they're like, hey, I'm going to bounce, right? But then they come back. And I think 93, they said 93% of them came back.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting to think too, like, if that's kind of foretelling the future as far as people getting in debt. I mean, especially, I know I keep touching on the gambling one, but that's obviously with DraftKings and all this stuff. It's like, it makes you wonder, like, how many even 18-year-olds or, however old, and they're taking these little gambles. The next thing you know, you're $50,000 in debt, and that's really hard to get out of,
Right.
But not only that, it's the easy money aspect though too, right? It's like, hey, I can make this and it's easy, but what is it worth to me? Like, I saw people die.
Right.
like
they said was like, I got nothing out here, so I might as well go in there and try.
I'm either gonna die out there,
right,
or I'm gonna die in here.
Try.
So the whole game in itself, was it just because some rich guy wanted to watch people plea for money? And
I haven't.
Was he just
yeah, I plan on the rest of it, but yeah, it kind of I don't know for sure what's going on yet, but it's just yeah, and I will tell you the deaths get no better. So if that makes you do this, you might as well just walk away.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's one of those weird things.
Like I didn't think that it was really gory, and like some of the stuff is like comical. Like it's not like a horror film.
No, but my thing is like some of the people you could see like pleading for their lives. Like during the I just got past the honeycomb trial.
Yeah.
Right, and then like what happens, and they look up at the guy and they're like, "I'm sorry, please," and bam, like yeah, and it's just is like well, and then the scene where there were I think it's in this third episode where they're carting people away in the coffins, and you see someone trying to get out of a coffin, he's still alive, and they just nail him back in.
It's so ruthless, man.
Dude, they're even brutal to their own kind, like the people that are there working for them.
Yeah,
something.
There's backstories on that too, about the workers.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, it's just the whole thing is something.
Can you hear that rain in the background? Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's all good. It's not really that bad.
I think it's 8 episodes.
Oh, is it?
I mean, it's 8 episodes. Yeah, it is 8, and it goes pretty quick. All of them are 57 minutes, but I really liked it, and I just really think I liked it because I think that like it could really happen. You know what I'm saying? In this time and age, and it's just like
it might be like, you know what I mean? Like what you guys alluded to is like people go missing constantly and no one finds people.
Yeah. That is scary, man.
Yeah. If you like that, Kevin, you should watch Alice in Borderland.
That's what I got. I'm starting that next.
Give it a try and see what you think. It's not the same social economic kind of story, but I dug it a lot.
Nice. Is it not funny how I like that? That was the other aspect of this. Like, I found out about this film over the weekend because of TikTok, and it's just like boom. That's all everybody's talking about. Like, it's just funny how that works, dude.
Yeah. How does something become the number one hit like that? Where then everyone is. I mean, every podcast I listen to mention this show. You know,
there's already memes, videos. You know, and it's funny because you almost feel like if you don't catch it, like even now, like we're already talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you almost you're not even done. You can't even get done with it yet.
You can't get done with the last cool, popular documentary or show or whatever, Heck, I'm still trying to get through the Britney Spears one. Poor lady. Good Lord. Have you guys seen that one?
No. That was good. That was the one on Netflix, right?
Yeah. I think it just
got
released.
Was the one that me and Amy watched 2 weekends ago. And it was one of those things that she had it on and I'm like, it just grabbed me. Because I don't remember it being that bad during that time period, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it. And I think that she got dealt the wrong hand, like totally. Like I totally think she got used. I totally think they made her crazy, and she just got used and abused. That documentary was better than the Hulu one. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, it's the typical. You're a superstar at a young age, and it seems criminal when you think about it now, especially being a little bit older or whatever. It's like they literally took this beautiful girl and threw her out into the world for everyone to look at her, lust after her, and then just control her, just like they did Elvis and probably Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. All these people. They can't take all of that. Like when you see the
I feel like she got like it works. Like it was like she was doing like just normal mistakes and got just trashed over it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and then they made her trash. Yeah, and then they made her seem like she was, crazy or whatever. And then her dad basically gets all the rights to her life and her money, and like she's out here doing all these shows and getting like $8,000 a month, while her dad's getting like I think it was like $100,000 a month, like expense plus all the money she made on the tour. Like it just, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's more of just the way celebrities get treated as far as just the privacy, I mean, but it's a weird thing, right? Because it's like they need the public, they need those headlines to sell tickets and whatnot. But then again, when they're trying to go to Starbucks just on any given day, they don't want 50 paparazzis just trying to get paid by taking a picture of her. I think that life would be miserable, man.
You think her life, if she was going through that now, would it be better or worse?
If she at this age?
Yeah. If that stuff was happening in 2021.
She'd probably be able to handle it differently because of her age and whatnot, but I mean, you give anybody money at a young age too. That's always difficult in itself, but
I think the whole thing is kind of dealt differently nowadays. I mean,
I feel it.
I don't know any person that I could equate to nowadays that is being treated how she was treated per se. Yeah, I mean, not off the top of my head, at least, I felt like Justin Bieber was probably.
We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, but I felt like Justin Bieber was dealt that same kind of hand where, all this fame at a young age and wouldn't be left alone and kind of drove him crazy. He did silly shit that a kid's gonna do, and then it blew up.
Yeah. Who are you talking about?
Miley Cyrus.
Bieber?
Yeah.
Bieber. Yeah. Well, and Cyrus. Yeah.
But I feel like like we've come to be more understanding now than, that was like an extra, that was 20 years ago compared to 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I not to talk about Rogan. I noticed last podcast I never mentioned Rogan, so I should have been congratulated. But he had a lady on there. She's a comedian, and she asked him like, "How do you deal with all the just the hate and just the people saying stuff about you, whatever?" He goes, "I literally don't look at it." And he goes, "You also have to remember that those comments are coming from people that do not know me. And if they knew me and they got to sit down and talk to me, they wouldn't say the hateful things that they're probably saying." And they, so it just kind of, it made me think of that, to where it's like these celebrities or they have to block all that out and just know that the reality is that if 1,000 people get on Twitter to trash you, there's 100 million people, whatever, in this world. So in all reality, it's a really, really small percentage of people, but I don't know, man. I feel, because especially in Hollywood, they say it usually doesn't work out good when you're a young kid and you become a celebrity at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So
you just got to grow up fast. I would think the celebrity now would probably think that, hey, they have to say my name to make them relevant. You know what I'm saying? That you got to come to reality that people are going to say good things, people are going to say bad things about me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of what Rogan said. He goes, people are writing articles about me, and he goes, good for them. They're getting paid. He goes, right. I don't know what they're writing, but good for them.
They should be thanking me because I'm putting food on. Yeah. I'm putting food on their table right now. You know what I'm saying?
I've literally heard Rogan say that. I'm just like, dude, I don't know if I would look at it like that. I'd just be like, hey, leave me alone.
Right. Absolutely.
Since we were talking about money, we were kind of talking about this at work the other day, and I thought it might be a kind of an interesting topic. If you could be gifted $1 million at some point in your life, when would you want it?
As early as, knowing what I know now, probably now. Because if I got it when I was 20, I wouldn't do what I would do with it now. You know what I mean? I would invest it. I would try to be smart with it. If I got it when I was 20, I'd probably buy a car, a house, do stupid shit. So I would say about now.
I would agree with Richard, maybe a little later, because I feel like I'm just now learning how to do money. The last, 6 or 7 years is when we got, you know what I'm saying? Everybody makes mistakes, everybody goes through it, nobody knows how to save. So I would say Like if I had it now, I'd pay the rest of my house off, and then just save the rest of the money. Because I mean,
yeah,
that's all I need. I mean, I don't need anything right now, but
yeah.
If it would have been earlier, I would have blown it. If it's later, I want to be around to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to enjoy it. Now.
You want to be able to compound it, also. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to
absolutely.
Get it. Then you don't have.
If I could, if I could flip it or make money off of it, that would be the opportunity to do that. So I would say no.
Yeah, I don't know, because like part of me says, hey, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, so you better get it as soon as you can, so cash out at, obviously we're just playing this little game right now, but let's say at the age of 20, you can either get it in your 20s, that's a good thing. You can either get it in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, or whatever, right? Like at any of that time, man, that part of me would say I'd want the maturity of a 40, 50-year-old, the mindset of a 40, 50-year-old, but but get it at the age of 20, because then you can go sit in a bank for 10 years and it grow interest and all that. But
that's the ideal situation. But for me, like that would not work out. That would not.
Well, like you said, I'm for sure buying a new vehicle because I'm 20. You know what I'm saying? And I'm buying a nice house and I'm living in it.
Right.
So, but anyways, we were kind of talking about that last night. Or
that $1 million isn't the same anymore.
I know it's not even enough. That's what's sad,
Yeah.
But because I remember now why we kind of got on that topic, because they were talking about athletes going broke, and I said, but imagine getting $5 million when you're 20 years old. Like, you're gonna wild out. You're gonna buy the Ferrari you've dreamed of having, the mansion you've dreamed of having, paying off your parents' debt, maybe hooking up your brother and sister, yada yada, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, I was in the NBA for 5 years, I made $10 million or whatever it was, and now I've got the rest of my life, and I might have 2 million or $1 million in the bank, and it's like crap. So I can see how easily it can happen. It's just because no matter how old you are, if you have that money, you're gonna want to you're gonna want to buy some stuff.
A lot of those guys live check to check like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
It's the whole, the more you make, the more you spend. It's so
simple. Like Rob Gronkowski and never have cashed a check that you've made from the NFL.
Yeah, I've heard that about Jay Leno, as far as he's never cashed. He's made all of his money he's made off of comedy, if I remember right. And he's got an incredible car collection too.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Man.
It don't look like Kyrie's gonna be getting any checks here soon.
I guess not, dude.
It's not gonna be getting nothing.
I still don't agree with it. I mean, I guess they're, maybe that's just what they think is the best for everything. But I feel sorry for these players that simply don't want the shot for whatever belief or whatever reason, and are being basically forced to, or they don't get paid. I think it's against freedom, to be honest with you. But it's
gonna be.
It's going.
But that's the thing though too. It's too close to home for most people, because there's a lot of people got to make that decision now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're just hearing about it because it's NBA player. I've talked to a guy at my job, and he has to make that decision at his full-time job. Like, do I want to or do or not?
Yeah.
We're more vulnerable than what Kyrie is, like, or Wiggins. Like, we're gonna have to take it before them, because a lot of us can't miss checks.
Right. Yeah. Well, and they can't either. We just talked about it. They probably got 30 family members that are relying on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And friends, that they're trying to help better their lives or whatever. So, I don't know. I guess that's the way it's gonna be. But I think I don't like it, man. It should be your own choice. If you don't want it, okay, no big deal. It's there to protect you. And if you don't want it, then move on. But especially since, it doesn't matter if you have it or not, you're the shot or not, you can still pass it and receive it. And sure. I don't freaking get it, but we've been over it a million times, I guess.
Hey, I think the people that aren't going to get the shot, they're just going to take them to the Squid Game anyway. So
yeah. Is that next?
I just got my flu shot yesterday, so.
Oh yeah,
I know, I'm ready to get mine.
I walked in yesterday to the doctor, and it was just like they just wanted to check my blood pressure to make sure my medicine was working. So I signed in, and she's like, "Do you want to get your flu shot?" And I just looked at her. I was like, I was not expecting that question, but all right, might as well.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's a thing. I thought that went away like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I just got to.
Who talks about the flu anymore?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The track is doing them for free, so I'm probably gonna go over there Friday when I got a free moment and just go and do it. Just because there's so much stuff going on, and I know I'm gonna be working 6 days a week coming up that I'm just gonna just knock it out.
Yeah, I never got the flu shot when I was younger, and then in my 30s, in my 30s, I got the flu once, and it knocked me out for 4 days. Like I literally could not get out of bed. And then after that, I was like, I'm getting the flu shot every year. And I
don't want no parts of this.
I don't want that ever again. Hopefully, so.
I'm one of the people that, like, I think the last time I got it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
like I'll do it like every other year, but like I'm just gonna do it.
I wonder what the odds are. I like to know actually the odds are of getting COVID now. I was gonna say I wonder what the odds are of getting the flu. You know, like you said, you get like compared to COVID now, what those numbers are at.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because last year the flu was non-existent because everybody was masked up and social distancing. So it's really hard to tell. And also every year the flu strain's a little different. So your flu shot's kind of a guess. It always has a certain efficacy, and it always will like protect you from getting serious illness. But it's always kind of a wild guess in terms of because they're trying to play, catch up in terms of okay, what's coming next year.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've honestly haven't even heard like that. Even like the COVID thing has been like that bad right now. I feel like is it like letting up or what? Like how are the numbers?
They're still up there. I think last month we had 1,500 people die in this state. We just cracked 700,000 die in the U.S. So numbers are still chugging along. It's just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what to say about it really at this point. I'm just waiting. The Pfizer has their stuff with the FDA, and I think they said the 11th or the 14th, FDA was going to get together and approve it for 5 to 11. I guess the testing went really well. They said that it actually worked better in that age group than any other age group.
I heard something too about like because there's a lot of pregnant women scared and stuff like that, and they've been saying that it actually is effective and will not cause you harm. But I do understand why people don't want to have kids that young and pregnant. I totally get it. And I would probably be very hesitant on that too with that age group and with just the vulnerability of being pregnant.
Who do they do the tests on?
Kids.
God, how does your kid become one?
I mean, probably somebody just volunteered.
It's probably what they do is they do at-risk kids that if they get COVID, they're going to die. Right?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be your group.
They probably okay. I get what
like, hey, if you have some sort of issue that if you get COVID, you're going to die. We can do this. I mean, and it's just in terms of this kind of thing, it's just a lesser dosage. It's not. Doing any. They're not having to do anything.
So are these? What they keep releasing all these new boosters? Is this just a thing now where you just have to continue to get these boosters or what?
for now, I mean, until they, I think they're coming out with a pill now that if you get COVID, you can take a pill. That'll hopefully help relieve things. And it's just like anything else. They keep working on it until they can get the efficacy up and the percentage up. And I mean, the other problem is as long as you have variants, I mean, if anything worse than Delta comes along, then you have that to worry about.
Right. There's just always something new.
It's just something. I mean, and the booster. It's just like we knew from the start we were going to need a booster. That's not new information. We were just waiting to see how long we would need a booster. So.
It's going to be weird. Life without COVID. Like seriously, like
dude. I mean, will there be a life without COVID?
Hey, that's what's so funny is like when this all started. Hey, this is gonna be like a week, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's literally. Like, I'm not see this going away for like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like when we had that doctor on. Like when I made the comment, like, will this be a thing where you just like how we'll go get flu medicine now or whatever? Will it just be like you said? There's already medicine out there, out there now where you can just, no different than Tylenol or whatever, you can take it to help cure it. But
yeah, I think I think one thing though, is to keep in mind that the mRNA that they use to cure or help with COVID wasn't being seriously backed with funding, right? Because it was newer. It was developed in the 90s. It's been researched for 30 years. Right. So, well, if you look at the polio shot, which has been around for 100 years, it's kind of newer. So, because it's still in that stage, nobody wanted to fund it, and then this comes along, and they're like, fund it. Now,
that's crazy.
Because of all the funding, it's like they now are testing. They now are in trials for cancer. Like, right? They found a way to cure small cell cancer. They think they're finding a way to basically give you your own cocktail of cancer cure. So say your family, right, is prone to 3 or 4 different cancers, right? Say colon cancer, lung cancer, whatever, right? You can get a shot, right? And the mRNA is basically a blueprint that says, hey, this is what happens when you see this, right? And boom, you're not going to have that problem.
They just make a different variation for the different,
right?
Disease. I guess, Richard, my question is why? Okay, why didn't they back it before?
Because it's new, right? There's already things in there being developed that they just are like, we already have these things that are for sure working.
But we've always had cancer, like know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So why wouldn't they back it to try to cure? Because
they're already trying to work on things for cancer. Like an attempt to cure cancer is already there. Is just, look, now that we have funding to do this and this is proven to work, let's throw more money at it and see what else we can use this to cure.
Right. But that's what you're saying. But it's what you're saying. It's proven to work. So why didn't we throw money at it before? Like I just don't understand it. Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. It's like anything else, right? It's like you just. When something new comes along, you're kind of hesitant with it, right? Yeah. I mean, we already have something that works. Why do we need to mess with what we know, right? And then COVID comes along, and it's like, let's throw everything at it. Let's start putting money everywhere, and just, I mean, this is what happens. And now, they're talking cancer, they're talking HIV, they're talking possibly the flu. I mean, which
it is weird though that they just all of a sudden, can have the cure to all these things that we've been having issues with, all because of COVID happening. And I don't know.
It is weird, but it sounds like it's been laying in the cut this whole time.
But that's technology, right? It's like technology has like you have to understand, right? It's not science is technology, right? Mm-hmm. So it will. Technology alone exponentially increases, right, by doubles, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to really explain, but like, so the same chip that's in a calculator today was used to send a rocket ship up in the 50s or 60s or whenever that thing went up, right? And now we got something in our hands that we can use, to for everything. So it's just it's you have to understand that when something like that is unlocked, right, it can exponentially increase the technological advancement for it. It's not just like this thing's been hiding for years. Well, it has been, but it's just there's so much money to throw at science.
Yeah.
There's so much money to throw at all kinds, like climate change, new cars, like there's just so much money. Where do you put it, right? And then so they say, hey, COVID comes along, and then this researcher that kind of already has something comes up and says, hey, I think I can cure this quickly. Here's the proof, but I need money, right? And they say, oh, okay, this is probably our quickest route. Let's throw money at it. So it's just, it's really see. There's other things too, like stem cells, right? Like nobody wants to touch stem cells because stem cells were taken off of fetuses in the 50s or 60s or 70s. So because of that, right, the religious folks do not want to deal with stem cells, even though it has been proven that stem cells can cure a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing. It's like we have this in front of us, but people are, and that's not even financial. That's just magic man in the sky telling them no. So it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I mean, look. Yeah, I mean the whole thing sucks, but at the same time, they might have cured cancer, and then but you'll still have people scoff at it, like, "Oh, how are they gonna do it so quick?" It's like, dude, they literally cured cancer.
Right.
Like, I just don't get it. Like they've literally. They've done the thing that people have been begging to be done
for over years.
I've been alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But see, I bet people would become skeptic of that too. Now
that's what I'm saying. It's like if people are skeptical of this, imagine when they cure cancer. Oh, I bet in 5 years, Biden's gonna push a button and you're gonna explode or whatever. They come up with. Look, awesome. I'm not even against people that are just skeptical or hesitant, right? I mean, look, you got a right to be skeptical. Like, I don't like to take medication, right? My doctor told me I need to take this medicine. I said, no, I'm going to go exercise and lose the weight instead because I don't want to take your medicine. So I'm the same way, but it's just like, come on.
But that's why I feel like you can't force this on people. You can't let these, I mean, I don't know how people aren't standing behind these athletes that are saying, it's my right to not get this shot, or it's my right to get this shot. Like, you can't force
every day. I don't want to do every day. I'm forced to do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I get that, but this is
my kids already got to take shots.
I get that, Richard, but those shots have been around for years and have been, worked on for years. And, I think it's understandable to be a little hesitant and, and
that's
I don't know, man.
It is what it is. I'm not saying anything about the shot. I'm just saying that, look, as
they're going to tell you anyway,
it's a business. And if you get told, I don't want to pay for your sickness because you don't want to, and look, that's a whole nother conversation, right? But for some reason, it always comes down to business, right? And money and the love of money, right? And we talk about the love of money. It's like the whole thing with Facebook, which we can get into later, right?
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Like, it's just, it's business. Like, businesses don't want to have to pay increased health care. They don't want to have to pay for you to be in the hospital for 2 weeks because you get COVID. They don't want to pay, for the likelihood increase of you spreading it because you don't have it. Like, they don't want to pay for those things. Like, and that's
cost them more money on the back end.
Right. That's their prerogative.
But I guess there's that other side of me too that just says, who's profiting from all of this, from making it mandatory and the boosters and all this stuff? Like, who's to not say that someone is just, I really don't like doing the whole conspiracy thing.
Profiting off of people that just take medicine to do it. It's all going to the same 4 or 5 companies, dude. Like there's like 5 companies in the world that are getting all the money. Like regardless of what you buy, right? Whether you buy toilet paper or a box of cereal, it's all going to Procter & Gamble, right? So it's just that's relevant. Like it's not. The same 5 people are getting the money.
Yeah. Well, and that's to transition. I think we saw this week. That's kind of what's happened with Facebook,
right?
Like when you realize Facebook and Instagram went down, and literally no one could do anything. And in a way, that's almost like your internet going down, right? Like it was because, and not that like, yes, there are people that are just addicted to just see what's going on. But like my wife, she uses it for business, for Pampered Chef, right? So she was just like, well, I couldn't get in contact with anybody. I couldn't, like all these people I've made relationships with, like I couldn't even reach out to them. And I was like, just think about that though. I was like, Facebook, we don't even like it. We talk trash about it, right? But you use just a little bit of it, and and like I've said before, I like it to follow up, to keep up with my buddies, see what's going on, maybe see their kids' pictures, just kind of see how all my people are doing, if I need to or whatever. But, as far as comments and stuff, I can't tell you last time I've left I can't tell you how many times I'll start to write something and be like, nope. I don't even want to hear the follow-up question.
I only knew it was down because someone was like, someone in IT was like, the internet's not down, it's Facebook. Like, I was like, what are you talking about?
So what happened? Because I know there was like something on the
news happened, or what are they saying happened?
Right.
Yeah, because there's so many rumors now, right? And then it ended up happening a day after 60 Minutes had a big whistleblower thing. So it's kind of like, is this because of this, or
are you getting rid of the evidence before you get subpoenaed and get told not to get rid of it?
Right.
So do you think that's what it was?
100%.
It was them.
100%.
Really?
You're not a company like that goes down for 7 hours. No.
Wow. So they went crash course, empty anything that has anything.
Yeah.
So
change the code, do whatever you got to do.
So what was the 60-minute segment about? I caught just a touch of it. Was it basically like she was accusing Facebook of kind of encouraging the bullying or the
So it's the basis. So she was a project manager for Facebook for years, and she basically talked about what we know, right? Facebook uses the algorithm in order to keep you involved. What's going to keep you involved? Right? Hate speech, reading people shit on Facebook. You're going to keep scrolling. You're going to get looking, right? So they're like, so their algorithm, right, is taught to just show that, because they know that people will stay on Facebook. And if they
can see the drama and they want to see the updates, and they want to keep going through it.
Click the ads, they'll do this, they'll play the games because they want to see more of the drama and they want to see more of the hate. Right.
So they're basically being accused of promoting that, or just
I think
trying to get people
worked
up.
She has like thousands of documents proving it, like is what she says.
Really?
So I think she's being accused at this point in time, or they're being accused, but like she brought stuff to the table, man. Like, and I guess this whole thing has been like years in the making. Like she basically took thousands of documents out of Facebook, photocopied everything, and now it's, I don't know if
so what's the end game on this? Like, how does Facebook get, if they were doing it like that, like like, how do they get in trouble? You get what I'm saying?
They're not. And that's the whole thing. And people continue to use it, right? For one, because they don't know better. And two, for reasons like what Blake said, people use it for financial means, right? They kind of got attached to it.
But this backs up what Blake has been saying, like all this stuff that's been going on, the past year, last summer, and all that stuff.
Right.
Like they're helping promote that. The media is helping push that and promote that for their game.
Yes.
Facebook has always done that, and it's not new.
Like, and I know. I know.
Documentaries on it. Like,
And then the other problem is there's only a few in the game. Right. So if you don't agree with what Facebook does, or if Facebook chooses to censor you, or if YouTube censors or, decides to pull off your content because they don't agree with what you're putting, then you can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. Right. So so then they can paint the narrative of whatever the headline is.
Right.
I want to read this.
But why take me off like Trump? Like, why take me off?
Exactly.
When I'm bringing what you want, right?
Exactly. Well, and not to.
I mean,
but that just goes to show, right? Trump was bringing the money, but they took him off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All the hate speech on because it brings money,
right?
But you apparently, because Rogan always says this, you also can see hardcore porn on Twitter. So his daughter, like this is what he always says, he goes, my daughter could grab my phone, be looking on Twitter and see hardcore porn, but someone that says something that a bunch of people don't agree with, or, a percentage of people will get kicked off of a platform. I didn't know you could see porn on
I didn't
on
either.
Twitter.
I'll be honest with you.
It might be under the educational section.
Man, Kevin knew the exact category. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The education. That's funny. Man. I don't know, but then again, like I said, man, it made you realize, like, I mean, even Instagram, like, I wanted to read this. This is kind of ties into what we were talking about. Once again, Rogan posted this the other day. And this was, I don't know what the outlet here is, but it's a news article or whatever. And the headline of it says 19 of the top 20 Facebook page for American Christians are ran by Eastern European troll farms.
I saw that. That was early last week. He put that on. Yep, I saw that.
Yep. And he had a guy, something Baker, Mike Baker, and he's the head of CIA or something. And he said that this is basically what's happening is all these other countries, this is how they found their way to make us be so divided, to not be united. And they got these troll pages. They come in, all it takes is like Rogan was kind of explaining is like, you may have a, anti-abortion, page or whatever. Well, then you got these bots that come in there and be like, this is my, 10th abortion and, just whatever, right? Just throws out some hate. And then, and then 20 people comment and it's just this. Oh, it's so gross, dude. But it's also like, we know it's happening. We know it's happening to our kids. We know what we're putting
on there. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know. But like to me, I don't view Facebook like that though, because I don't do that. Right? Like I do I really don't know. I don't ever get on Facebook to be like, oh, I want to see what's going on. It's usually because a stupid notification pops up. And I'm like, what did my wife post this time?
But that's the thing, that there's people that are doing that though. Like, they have nothing else to do but you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're going up there to chat it up with your friends and whatever, right? You're not going to find out what hate group or whatever, but you can scroll and find that stuff though too. It's out there,
right? Yeah, and some people feed off of that.
Yeah. So sometimes it's not you're looking for it. You run into it, and then, like we said earlier, you're seeing the comments, you're seeing the discussion, and hey, now you're in it, right?
Yep.
Because you don't agree with it.
Yeah, I did want to read the caption that Rogan put on that post. He said, "But part of the weirdness of today's internet is you don't know how much of the extreme polarization we're experiencing is being instigated by the intelligence agencies of other countries that are benefiting from us being at each other's throats. The long game is a complete division of Americans, and so far it's going pretty well for them."
Yeah, that's
he's absolutely correct.
During the 2016 election, where they, there was some report that came out that gave a large percentage of Twitter people that were starting shit were basically Russian
bots. Yeah, but if you're Twitter, figure out how to eliminate them, not stupid Donald Trump. Like, eliminate that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess Donald probably caused some division himself, but still, it's like, where are you at on that, Twitter? Where are you at on that?
Don't they have people that work that stuff that are trying to fish that stuff
It's all
out.
algorithm based. I don't think anybody's like behind a computer looking at it. It's all let's try to figure out.
And the other thing is too, it's like whenever there's people, there's someone that's going to be corrupt.
Yeah,
like, so you don't know. I mean, we was kind of texting about it the other day about the guy that was on Rogan that got convicted of rape and spent 24 years in prison, and the guy was talking about how the prosecutors knew that he was innocent and that the evidence was there that he was innocent, but they just wanted to win. They just wanted to win. They just wanted to win the case. They have a guy. They don't want to go try to find another guy, so they're going to put it on this guy, and they don't care. It's so sickening, dude. I hurt for that guy, man. I really did hearing him talk.
Yep. Yeah, it was all about that guy's, political gain or whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Because the numbers, right? You got
so
to put
dirty.
numbers up, man. So yeah, I feel like the system we have would work if people would do it correctly.
Yes. Because it's too easy. It's too easy for some guy in high school that didn't have whatever, maybe didn't have friends or whatever, and just wanted to have some power. He wanted to be able to tell some people what's up, so he goes to law enforcement, and the next thing you know, he works his way up, and now he can, he can just be an a-hole, or he can, man, I don't know. It seems like
it's about money and power, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's like the,
I know.
There's some good documentaries on Netflix about the Innocence Project, and one of the things that they brought up was there's a doctor that would basically go on the stand for a lot of murders using teeth imprints.
I remember that one.
Convict people using that, and it was found out to be totally freaking bogus. And this guy,
and they made it so it was like so state of the art. He was the only guy. I know. Yeah, you guys haven't watched some documentary about that yet.
It's everywhere, dude. Like, it's not even like some dude in politics. Like, you're absolutely right, but it's like it's everywhere. Some scientist wants to be a renowned scientist, and so now he's going to take the stand. The same thing with blood splatter. Like they've discovered, blood splatter science is just bogus garbage.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, I can't imagine like convicting someone of a crime that they didn't do and be okay with it. Like it's like a game. You're just playing with.
It's not without reason, without
Yeah. Oh man,
there's got to be something. Like I mean, how can there not be a law? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how could you not go to jail? How many other people this guy is convicted?
Right.
Are they going back through all of this guy's cases now?
Exactly. Yeah, they should. Well, and then even with this guy, which was sad, he said, my brother, while I was in jail, my brother started selling drugs to help pay for my lawyer fees. And he ended up getting shot in the streets and killed. So he's like, I'm in jail for 24 years for nothing, literally nothing. Like nothing. It's just crazy. Just because someone said it was me. That's really all it came down to. And then he loses his brother, and then when he gets out, he got $2 million, which is a joke. I mean, it's obviously great, lots of money, but you literally took his whole entire life from the age of 19 until however old he was when he got out, and
you gave him this money. He's gonna blow it. It's not even that. Like it's not worth it to him. All he's gonna do is you taught him to be a criminal because you put him in that element. So what is he gonna do with the money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he has a family member or something that'll help him, but that's not even guaranteed, right? I mean,
right. Yeah. Yeah. And this specific guy, I mean, he sounded educated, and he said he really educated himself when he was in jail, and, tried to, because he knew he had a plan once he got out of, so he made the best of it, I guess. But, I just can't imagine, man, just someone just be like, yeah, it was that guy right there. He did it. And then next thing you know, they're taking you somewhere. And like he said, he was like, I was in jail for 4 years while they were just trying to figure out if I was him or not.
Because he didn't have bail money, he couldn't get out.
Exactly. Because he was poor. He was from a rough neighborhood. And of course he's black. There's that, of course, it's just, dude, and you know, there's hundreds of people in jail and now they've been in jail for so long. I mean, in a way, I mean, it's slavery in itself.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, without a doubt, dude, it really makes me lose faith in our jurisdiction system. And
when then you hear news stories about like Alabama, they're taking their COVID relief funds and building new prisons with it.
God, dude, for what? Does it help them make money? I mean, doesn't our tax dollars go to the? I mean,
jails do make money.
Yeah. Especially the private.
I don't know. And then and then I would like to see if people are in jail, then how can we better them? How can we get them help? Like, don't make jail should not be a great place. Don't get me wrong, right? But like, especially if they're going to get out, like, don't just send them out with what they came in with. Like, give them that second chance. Like, love on them, mentor them. Because 90% of the people that are in jail probably had the worst upbringings. Or you got to be held accountable. A lot of them probably made bad decisions when it comes to drugs or alcohol, or you lose your temper one day and you kill somebody and now you're in jail. Like it's just that simple, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice, to have more programs to reform criminals instead of making them better criminals.
Yeah. Is that your dog in the background, bro?
Yeah, they are playing with each other right now. Like, it's like perfect time, and they creep in and into the office, and the puppy's barking at the older dog.
They trying to wrap it up on us, I guess.
Yeah. Time for a walk.
Yeah, for real. I need go on a walk and meet some neighbors.
Yep.
Met Marcus and Tamika last night. Shout out to Marcus and Tamika.
meet us at the pool. It's going down.
That's right.
Man.